It was exactly 45 years ago this summer. Hard for me to believe it's been that long. The setting was an evening service of the Salvation Army in the city of Frankfort, Kentucky, the capital city of that state. A new citadel was being built there, so the old one had been torn down. The temporary meeting place had been in long years past an old livery stable, but it had been cleaned up and well painted, a very simple but very suitable place of worship. The speaker for the evening was a young man in his late 20s, handsome, well-dressed. He was speaking in very good English, but there was a clear trace of an accent. He was, in fact, a native of Germany and had served during the Second World War in the military forces of Germany. Some of you may already have recognized by now a reference to my good friend Heinz Buch. And in that summer of 1950, Heinz and I spent our summer weekends working with the Salvation Army in Frankfort while we were both summer students at Asbury College in Kentucky. That evening there was a very respectable little crowd. Some of the soldiers from the local Salvation Army unit, led by Captain and Mrs. Captain, a few people off the streets, and several of us college students. As he began his simple witness, my friend Heinz pointed to the side wall of that temporary citadel and called our attention to a poster which was attached there. It was a rather gaudy poster which seemed to be picturing a stylized city skyline, above which there arose an ominous mushroomed-shaped cloud. And across that cloud, and you must remember now this was in 1950 and the doomsday clock was ticking toward 12. And across that mushroom cloud there was emblazoned the words, "Christ is the answer." Yes, my friends, Heinz began, Christ is the answer to the fears of our world, and Christ is the answer to the needs of our lives. It was a powerful moment, one that has obviously remained vivid in my mind across all these years. And my friend went on to give a simple, powerful testimony to the way in which Christ had become the answer in his life and the way in which he saw that Christ could be the answer to the needs of the world and the needs of the people who were gathered there in that simple assembly. But as I read these compelling words, especially from the letter to the Galatians, I found myself confronted with this disturbing thought. How can Christ be the answer when all the questions have changed? Paul and the people to whom he was speaking as he wrote the letter to the Galatians were struggling with what was to them a very real question of how anyone could be justified in the presence of God. The law, or the Torah of God, was a matter of great and daily importance to them. And they struggled to know how it fit in with the ministry and the death of Jesus in whom they had come to believe. It was a very real question. But can you imagine two business associates in Longview who come to a moment in their conversation, a very serious moment, when one turns to the other and says, "How do you think a man can be justified in the presence of God?"